What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Go TV. I appreciate you guys coming back. Just got back from a mountain bike ride, and as you can see, we got good and muddy today. It was a lot of fun. I usually go with my neighbors every Sunday morning, and today we did about 10 miles of very rough terrain. So today we're gonna take a look at this tractor that I've been working on, this John Deere that I redid. New paint, clean up, took it all apart, took all the rust out. But I'm having an issue with the brake. So one of the biggest problems I'm having is the brakes don't work. No matter how much I adjust them with the adjusting screw, it doesn't work. So my analysis of the problem is there's a rotor in there, and the rotor is on a shaft, and it's probably seized onto the shaft. The rotor is supposed to float, and that's how it stops. But if it's seized, only one brake pad is putting pressure on it, and the one on the inside against the transmission is not making contact with the rotor. So when I step on the brake, it doesn't stop. So getting this off was a pain, because my ring clip pliers, the tips have been broken off. So I tried filing them down, which was a pain in the ass. But what I did was, where the key goes into, I slid the I turned the ring clip so I can put one of these in here and kind of like pop it up a little bit and then kind of like work it out. So, but I got it out, and I got a little blood. It's all for the cause. You got two washers in here. And the wheel should come off, but I don't think it's going to make this deck lid, whatever you call this thing. I think it's just gonna hit it. Let's see. Nope. That's the key that holds the wheel into place on the axle. So we definitely don't want to lose that, or we will have no wheel lock onto the axle, and it won't do anything. So we have to make sure we keep that. And I'm going to loosen up a couple bolts here on this deck here, just give me enough room to just slide the wheel off. So although this tractor has a lot of really good features and it's really well made, having this deck hood, the spring-loaded hood here, is probably a poor design to get the back wheel off. I had to take these two bolts off, and there's a rivet in here. But luckily I can just move this enough, you can see, move it enough to where I can probably pull the tire off without it being a problem. This here is the brake assembly. There's your rotor. You have a caliper here, and then you have a caliper on the inside, on the transmission wall. And then when you apply your brakes, this here pushes the pinions in, which pushes the brake pad against the rotor. And then this rotor is supposed to slide back and forth, and when pressure is put on here, it'll put pressure against the back pad which stays, it's locked into place. So the action is out here. So this, when you apply your brake, this pushes the pinions in, and then it pushes the rotor in against the other pad. So my assumption here is this is how you adjust your brakes here. And when you tighten this, it just puts more pressure on it. And when your pads get shorter and shorter, you could just keep adjusting that until you have no pads left, and you replace the pads. So I tried that, adjusting it, and I came to the conclusion that this probably is not moving the way it's supposed to be moving. So we're going to take these two bolts out, and that should free up the whole caliper. This can stay in place unless you want to take everything apart, which we may or may not have to. So let's take these two bolts out. I think they're 3/8. All right. So we probably have to take this pin off and loosen up the brake rod. I think this is a 1/2 inch. Okay, so let's loosen that one up. We have access to both of these nuts now by loosening that. So I actually cracked, from tightening up the brake adjuster, I actually cracked the pad that's in there. So I think I may have another one. This is the problem here. See this? This is seized. This is supposed to slide off freely, and it is not doing that. So we're gonna have to. Fortunately, I don't have a gear puller that is small enough to fit in this. So I'm gonna have to figure something out with this one. I may have to heat this up a little bit and see if I can just kind of work it out and then clean that. There's a spline in here that this locks onto, and I may have to heat that up a little bit and see if I can work it out. Hopefully that'll work. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to tap it for a little while, see if I can break the rust free. And then I do have a gear puller. It's a little bit too big for this, but I'm going to see if I can maybe work it in there and see if I can kind of nudge it out. Alright, so that was pretty interesting. This came off, but there is no brake pad there. And there's nothing on the ground, nothing fell out. So that brake pad's been gone for quite some time. But this thing still is like very rusty, so I'm gonna get a wire brush and I'm gonna try and clean that as much as I can, and then just grease the heck out of it so this stays mobile. Luckily I do have a brake pad I can put in there that fits, so we should be okay with that. I got these cleaned off pretty good, and I don't have any anti-seize, but I'm just gonna put a little dab of grease on there, and I don't want to use too much grease because I don't want it to get onto the rotor and onto the brake pads to where it doesn't stop. I mean, eventually, if it did get down, it would just wear off anyway from the friction. But and it's not like we're on the highway doing 80 miles an hour. So I'm just gonna put a little grease on there, and then a little bit of grease on the rotor, and then kind of like just work it in there where I can kind of like so. It's free to move, and it's free to make contact with the other pad. So I'm gonna pull that back out. Then we'll put the other pad in there, and then we'll put everything back together. So here I had another pad. I got the pad in there. Oh. So to keep it from falling, I'm just gonna put a little grease behind it so it kind of sticks to the wall. That way it won't keep flopping out. And then I'll put this baby back in. Good. Now we got the pad in there. Well, maybe not. Yeah, pad's still in there. Okay. Now we can just start assembly. That's good. We can loosen this up a little bit more, and then we'll adjust it. We can actually adjust this with the wheel on if we need to. So let me just release the emergency brake so I can at least test the brake. So I wanted to show you how the rotor spins, and when I apply the brake, it stops. So we are getting the results that we wanted to, which is stopping, which is always a good thing. This way you don't run into the neighbor's fence. But I'm gonna throw this thing back together and call it a day. And I thank you guys for joining me on GoTV. Please like, subscribe, and share, and feel free to comment down below, because it helps my ranking on YouTube. To more comments I have, the more better visibility I'll have, and it'll help me grow the channel. And hopefully, you know, we can get 1,000 subscribers soon. So please share. And I'm going to put some links down below to some of my affiliates that I make a few bucks on. And I would appreciate if you click one or two and see if you need anything.